Well, well, Kirsten, thank you so much for helping my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I'm Kirsten Bisterbosch. I just graduated high school. I'll be going to Florida State next fall. Yeah.
And what do you plan to do?
I plan to study business and marketing. Yeah.
It sounds awesome. So, did you know that NASA is planning to send people to the moon in 2024 for the first time since 1972?
I did not until today, but it sounds really cool.
Now, since you're thinking about going into marketing, what do you think NASA should be doing differently to get the word out? Like, if you were their marketing director, what would you do?
That's a good question. I don't know. I would say like what most young people are on is on social media. So I think that's the biggest thing, to be honest. Yeah, more marketing on social media and in the news maybe. But yeah, I would say social media is the biggest thing.
And what do you think about us sending people back to the moon?
I think it's exciting. I hadn't realized that it's been such a long time since it last happened. But yeah, I think it's cool. What exactly are they doing on the moon? Is it?
Well, several things. One, we discovered that in these permanently shadowed craters on the poles of the moon, there's actually frozen water ice. So we're thinking a key resource in the future. Meteors are constantly hitting the Earth, and this has been going on for millions and millions of years. And most of those meteors burn up in the atmosphere, and those that don't burn up in the atmosphere, land in the ocean. And then those that actually land on land, the evidence of them only lasts for so long as the weathering and things happen. But the moon doesn't have an atmosphere, doesn't have weather, and it's been traveling in the same volume of space as the Earth. So it has, as a proportion, those same types of meteors have been hitting the moon. So the moon's almost like a record of all of these potential impacts on Earth. So you could imagine that there might be this whole kind of cloud of meteors that are rocks that are in orbit around the sun that might have a really long cycle, like thousands of years, which the moon has evidence of. And if we knew about, we could actually take precautions as a hypothetical outcome.
That's really cool. That makes sense. I can see how that's useful.
But a lot of it depends upon kind of like your view of the future of humanity. Like, do you think humanity is forever going to be limited to just the Earth, making like little trips to places? Or do you think humanity will actually branch out into the rest of the solar system and beyond?
I think that's definitely a possibility. If you see what we've done with space exploration so far, and plans like to go to Mars and colonize Mars, I could definitely see that happening on Mars. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead yet, I guess. But yeah, maybe within the solar system, or maybe on Mars.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Because if your view of the future of humanity is humans going out into space, then the moon's a logical step. But if you're like humans are going to be forever earthbound, this is really hard to justify. It's like, how does that make sense?
No, that's true. I mean, if you think about like how the population just keeps growing and how we're not taking care of the resources and all that, I mean, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening, and pretty soon too, I think.
Well, if it was safe and affordable, would you go to space?
No.
No.
I wouldn't. Oh, well, if it was safe, if it was 100% sure that I could come back, then yeah, I would.
Well, did you fly or drive to Colorado?
I drove.
You drove. Now, driving is 100% safe.
It's not. No, I know. I see your point. But as far as like colonizing, when they say that we want to send people to Mars to colonize, right? Those people aren't coming back. So I mean, I would go on a space trip. Yeah, I think that would be cool. But I
Like,
wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't colonize.
like maybe a suborbital flight, like what Jeff Bezos is going to be doing next month.
Yeah, I've heard about that, and that sounds cool.
Or maybe to orbit, like the Inspiration 4 people are doing.
Hmm. Yeah,
But would you go to the moon?
yeah, I think so. If I was going in space, I think it'd be worth it. I mean, in orbit, if you're in orbit, right, you have to have well, if just Jeff Bezos is making it, probably some kind of entertainment. What about a space trip? Yeah, I would go on the moon. I would do all of it. Sounds fun.
Well, I kind of see this as being a time capsule for people 50 years, 100 years from now to look back. I like to say that the audience for this hasn't even been born yet. Is there anything that you think would be good for them to know about our times as they're looking back at these videos?
Wait, what was the question?
Oh, so this whole project is also kind of like a time capsule,
Yeah,
documenting people's thoughts before we take these first steps, or these next steps on a new world, beginning hopefully a prolonged journey of exploration. And as these future people, not yet even born, look at this video 50 years, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, what would you like for them to know about your time?
it's such a hard question. I don't know. It's maybe something about sorry, I'm thinking maybe something about the environment, like how, like where we're at right now, how people right now aren't really like thinking about how we can take care of our resources for a longer time. And I know like oil and gas industry is like really huge still, even though like solar and wind power are growing. But I think a lot of people just don't take it really seriously. Yeah, I just think that that's a really important thing right now, that could really change the way that we see like the world in the future, but also like space travel. Because if we don't take care of our Earth, then we're gonna have to eventually go somewhere else. So yeah.
It's kind of interesting you bring up energy. Now, the sun is like emitting energy in every direction, like 360 degrees and, around every place. And if you ever take a sphere out to the size of the Earth's orbit, and you looked at how much that surface area of that sphere was versus like the surface area of the Earth intersecting that sphere, like the proportion of that's like 1 to 700 billion. Like only 1 of 700 billion of the sun's energy falls on the Earth, and that powers everything we know. Every plant that's ever grown, every all weather. And so, I mean, essentially, whenever you think about that, the sun is essentially producing almost unlimited energy. We just have to figure out how to capture it and do something useful with it.
Yeah, that's a good point for sure. No, yeah, I think that's so important. And yeah, I just think right now, like a lot of people still hang on to like the past, like how we get energy now, like from non-renewable resources. And it's really hard to like change like the way that people live. But I think like the renewable energy is really huge, and you can do a lot with it too. So yeah.
Well, I really appreciate your time. I know we covered a lot of stuff. If there's anything you want to add, be happy to go into that too. But
No, not really. about it.
Well, I thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful trip.
Thank you so much. It was really fun, and I learned a lot.
Me too. Okay, well, take care.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.